Hello everyone! Welcome back to Rogue Robot Reviews, the series where I cover every one of my children, my favorite characters from WALL-E, one at a time. I always have fun making these videos and seeing the reception they get from fellow WALL-E fans. As soon as I finished the last episode, I just knew I had to make one more before high school ends. I struggled a bit on which robot to do next, but one kept grabbing my attention. I thought about it, and then just rolled with it. And so, the one we'll be discussing today will be the Blue Grabber Robot. The Blue Grabber Robot is a service bot that does unspecified work all over the Axiom. It's likely they transport heavy cargo from place to place with those huge arms. I tend to think of this guy in particular as a male, and his design is really fun. His main body has a slant at the front and is comprised of 3 parts, with the smaller middle section having what appears to be a speaker on it. The right side has a pair of blue stripes vertically wrapping around his body, while the left has his vision screen displaying a pair of blue eyes, along with a code saying 4936. Why don't I refer to him by his code, you ask? Well, because it's actually shared by another rogue robot, the Gray D-Fib lookalike. Why do they have the same code? I'm not sure. Does this mean that we shouldn't refer to the robots by their codes then? Was it just an error? Who knows? Anyways, under the center of his body is an extension that splits and branches out to hold the arms. The joints are connected to 4 arms that are covered with indentations and black squares, and those lead to his iconic blue claws. Whoever designed this guy probably had a lot of fun modeling him. All the details make him a joy to look at. He's also on the larger end of the size spectrum, making him seem like one of the more formidable and powerful robots of the group. And his red cord is connected from the left side of his body to his arm. Now, let's get into his appearances. Like most, his model is seen all throughout the film, especially up and down the halls of the Axiom. But our rogue friend himself is first seen in the repair ward, on the right side close to the diagnostics room, alongside the purple one-eyed robot, the satellite-shaped robot, and Spray. It's unknown what his exact malfunction is, but something I've noticed about him is his tendency to lift his arms up in front of his face, as if he's shy. I really like this. It makes him come off as a nervous, gentle giant. His first major appearance is in the shot of WALL-E getting carried away, where you can see him in the distance swiftly moving his arms up. You can also just barely see his claw in the WALL-E perspective shots. The same occurs in the shots of Eve getting decapitated and having her firearm removed. Heh, get it? Firearm? Never mind. Here you can see his claws sitting motionless. Finally, we get a good peek at him, where he can be seen lowering his arms and turning to stare at WALL-E speeding by. Next comes some continuity errors. When the pen's all shut down, he can now be seen on the opposite side of the room from before, seemingly behind the long-necked robot. Another odd thing worth mentioning is that you can see a silhouette of him behind the glass in the next scene, even when he's already moved from his spot. Again, not a clue. Either way, he can be seen jumping from his newfound spot and cheering with the other escaped bots, only to turn around and stare at WALL-E. He then shakes his arms around and smashes through the glass, followed by him turning back around and leaving the repair ward. He can be seen in the next shot behind the crowd, moving to the left of the screen until he's off camera, but then again very briefly from behind when Eve follows the group. Afterwards, he can be seen flying out the doors behind the yellow grabber robot. He then zooms around the hall corner with everybody else, near the front of the group and nearly colliding with the wall. He gleefully bounces around with his arms up, opening and closing his claws. He sort of descends off screen before being abruptly halted by the stewards. He doesn't appear again until Eve arrives, where he can be seen on the left side of the pack with his claws in guard position, with 444, the scrubber robot, Serve, the upside down 544, and the tall curve-headed robot surrounding him. All while the small blue robot and 4341 are nestled behind him, using his girth to hide themselves. Subsequently, he's seen in the next 2 shots in the same position. When the stewards shoot their lasers, you can tell that he's become both defensive and a bit uncomfortable with the others clustering around him. Once Eve and WALL-E rocket away, he flies over the stewards, continuing to open and close his claws before turning right. And with that, he's out of the picture. But he does have some other noteworthy appearances. Firstly, in the Captaining the Axiom bonus feature, they display a small lineup of the ship's hospitality units, and among that roster is none other than the Blue Grabber robot itself, giving us an excellent look at the model. This image of him can also be seen in this chart I found lately, which has nearly every background robot in it, including almost every one we've covered already. So that's cool. Another major instance of him is in that old BuildBot game. He was certainly a part of a loading screen, but I'm unsure if he was playable or not, though this claw arm above him in this picture makes me think so. And finally, he could be found in that one behind the scenes video. Here we get to see him in a light green coloration, and with a more complete view of him just doing his thing. And that is the Blue Grabber Robot, or Mover as some would call him. Out of all the more minor robots that don't have a specific gimmick, he's very much one of my favorites. His general shape is so intricate and odd that I can't not love it, not to mention his quirky claw mannerisms. I'm also happy to call him the final robot I've covered while in high school. Honestly, he was a good pick for wrapping up this era of my life, and it was great to finally go over him. I hope you enjoyed this send-off episode of the series, and just so you know, due to everything I've got planned after this, the next episode of this series won't come out until July, but the wait will be worth it, I promise. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.